People will treat you how they want to treat you, but that should not change how you treat others. It's hard, I know, when someone who you think is either your friend or someone who's close to you or someone who you don't even know is treating you poorly. And your first instinct is to combat them, to fight against it. And in some situations, every context is going to be different, but is it helpful? Is it going to lead you to the outcome you'd want? Sometimes I think our own ego fuels our actions and our desires, and this constant neediness to feel satisfied in our feelings, to feel content, to feel competent, to feel not belittled, it can almost self sabotage our character. Take an honest look at yourself and the person who you become when you start to fight it back against someone who's, maybe being poor to you, bullying you, being mean to you. And they mean it. They're being malicious. Do you want to be that kind of person? Me personally, I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person who is a warrior in a garden, not a gardener in a war. I want to be that person who, when it comes down to in a serious situation, can remove myself from situations that do not serve me versus trying to combat that and almost play their game. People say be the bigger person, but be the bigger person doesn't necessarily mean always taking stuff on the chin. Sometimes you might just have to leave that situation. Sometimes you might just have to leave that relationship, leave that friendship, leave that job. You're not avoiding it if it doesn't serve you. The only time in which you should stay back and fight is if you know that this path is where you want to go down and that's the obstacle in course. But do so in gaining friends, not enemies, because the more friends you have, then the less enemies you have, the easier your life will become. A lot of the times when we're growing up, some of us might have been or have got bullied by some people. I've been on both sides of the scenarios, and I've looked back and really tried to self-assess when I was bullying other people, why I did it. And it really came down to just insecurity and things happening in my past or in my home life, or just, I was getting bullied, so I bullied other people that it almost gave me power because I felt powerless. And when you live in that external world, it really just does not serve you. And you're just hurting other people. If you're getting bullied, you have every right to tell them, hey, I don't like this. Stop. Right? When you chirp back, you're playing their game. You're no better than them. And I know as a kid, it's hard to conceptualize and feel like you're not being like that whole, the society and parents telling you, oh, be the bigger person, be whatever. And I'm telling you, like, unfortunately, they're kind of right. But you can do so by gaining friends instead of enemies, because the way they teach you will give you enemies. It'll teach you that by based on school and society, they'll say, okay, you need to tell them, stop, I don't like this. And then combat them versus saying, like, hey, listen, I don't like this. Like, are you okay? Like, why are we like making fun of me? Like, type, like, try to reason with them, try to be friends with them, because a lot of the times those bullies are likely just insecure, trying to put on other trauma, or sometimes might actually respect you, saying like, hey, listen, I don't, I want to be around you, I want to be your friend, but I don't want to be near you because of the things that you're doing or the things that you're saying to me. Can you stop? Like, what? Why are we doing this? And when you lose your character by playing the same game, you almost become them. And that's why the whole cycle kind of works out. Like, let's use alcoholism for an example, right? Someone who grew up with an alcoholic father, they see the tendencies, they see the behaviors, they see the patterns, they got bullied, but then, on their kids, they don't really know how to deal with it. So then they start putting on the same trauma, the same thing. They start becoming alcoholics themselves because they don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to break that cycle because they don't know how to be a bigger person, and they don't realize that you are in control of your reality. You're not a byproduct of your environment. Yes, your environment does shape how you think, act, and feel, but you can choose your environment. And if you can't choose the primary location, you can choose your friend group. If you can't choose your friend group, you can choose what you adhere to, what you don't adhere to, what infiltrates your mind, what doesn't infiltrate your mind. You are the master of your own destiny, and play the game that you want to and be the person that you want to be, not the person that you become as a byproduct of other people putting on their insecurities and putting on their lack of competency in certain areas onto you. So be the bigger person, and trust me, being kind, being competent, and being trustworthy are much better qualities to have as a friend than to someone who can roast someone else back or make someone else feel bad about themselves because you're just playing the same game as them.